The wasted talent. Society sells intelligence as a golden ticket. Lie. It's a ladder to isolation. And at the top, there's no happiness. Just brutal clarity. IQ between 115 and 120. You're the smart kid in class who never became anything. You spent your childhood hearing, "You have so much potential," but hit 30 doing a job any trained monkey could do. The problem? You're too intelligent not to notice the mediocrity of your existence, but not intelligent enough to escape it. It's like being trapped in a room with transparent walls. You see the exit, but you can't break through the glass. This level is the hell of self-awareness without tools. You understand complex concepts but can't apply them. You recognize patterns but don't transform them into action. Studies show that people in this range have frustration rates 40% higher than average because they know they could be more, but don't know how. The real torment isn't being stupid, it's being smart enough to know you're failing. The Suburban Prodigy. IQ between 121 and 130. You're the big fish in a small pond. The best student at the public school. The family genius. The employee who solves everything while others stumble. And this feeds your ego for years. Until the day you meet the ocean. Could be at an elite university. Could be at your first real job. Could be when you meet someone truly brilliant and realize you're not special. You are just the least mediocre in a mediocre environment. The revelation is devastating. Everything that built your identity, "I am intelligent," crumbles in weeks. This level is the zone of fractured identity. You're not dumb enough to be happy in ignorance, but you're also not brilliant enough to be relevant among real talents. Research indicates that 60% of people in this range develop chronic imposter syndrome because they were treated as exceptional but discovered they were just above average. The tragedy isn't discovering you're ordinary. It's discovering you spent your entire life believing a comfortable lie. Here begins the cognitive dissonance. You're still smarter than 95% of people, but that stops mattering when you finally meet the other 5%. The functional talent. IQ between 131 and 140. Welcome to the level where you finally manage to turn intelligence into tangible results. You've got the good job, the decent salary, the professional respect. From the outside, it looks like you won. From the inside, you're starting to feel the emptiness. Because here's the dirty secret of this level. You're intelligent enough to automate your own irrelevance. You solve complex problems so fast that time is left over. Too much time to think. And thinking at this stage is dangerous. You start questioning whether success is really this. Wake up. Work on things that don't matter. Accumulate money to buy expensive distractions. Repeat until you die. This level is the valley of masked existential crisis. Externally, you're functional, productive, even admired. Internally, you're trapped in a golden cage, knowing your intelligence is being wasted optimizing spreadsheets and attending useless meetings. Data suggests that professionals in this IQ range are 50% more likely to report lack of purpose, despite material success. Curious how society measures success by money and status, but never asks if you wake up wanting to be alive, right? You conquered the game and discovered the game was irrelevant. The office genius. Here you enter the top 1% of the population. Congratulations. You just unlocked a superpower nobody asked for. The ability to solve problems other people can't even see. And that, ironically, makes you completely useless socially. You see obvious solutions to crises your colleagues spend weeks debating. You identify flaws in plans everyone celebrates. You anticipate disasters nobody else notices approaching. And when you try to warn them, you become the annoying one, the negative one, the one who complicates everything. Because the uncomfortable truth is, most people don't want solutions. They want validation. This level is where intelligence starts sabotaging relationships. You can't turn off the processor. In a casual conversation about movies, you're analyzing narrative structure. At a family dinner, you're detecting patterns of emotional manipulation. Your friendships start evaporating because nobody wants to be analyzed all the time. Loneliness doesn't come from being alone. It comes from being surrounded by people who will never understand how your mind works. Studies show that people in this range have social circles 35% smaller than average, not by choice, but because they became too exhausting to be around. You solve invisible problems and become invisible in the process. The conscious isolate. Welcome to the 0.1% club. Here, loneliness stops being a side effect and becomes your permanent condition of existence. Not because you're antisocial or weird, but because there literally aren't enough people at your cognitive level to form a functional social network. Think about it this way. In a city of 100,000 people, there are maybe 100 individuals with IQ similar to yours. Of those 100, how many are your age? Share your interests? Have your emotional availability? The math is brutal. You could go years without meeting someone who truly understands how you think. And I'm not talking about agreeing with you. I'm talking about literally processing information at the same speed and depth. This level is where you develop what I call simplification armor. You learn to dumb down your ideas, to pretend you haven't seen the solution yet, to laugh at jokes that aren't funny, to simulate interest in conversations your brain already cataloged as irrelevant in the first 30 seconds. You become a full-time actor of your own mediocrity. The irony is sinister. You have a brain built for complex connections, but you spend your life simplifying everything so you don't scare others. Research indicates that individuals in this range have depression rates 2.5 times higher than average. It's not chemical, it's architectural. Your brain was built for a world that doesn't exist. The misunderstood outlier. You don't speak the same language as 99.9% of humanity. And I'm not being metaphorical. Literally, the way you process concepts, connect ideas, and build reasoning is so different that communication becomes constant translation. And translation always loses nuance. Imagine trying to explain color to someone born blind. You have the words, but you don't have the shared frame of reference. That's how you feel in almost every conversation. You see systems within systems, patterns within patterns, implications that unfold in cascades. And when you try to verbalize it, people look at you like you're speaking in code, because to them, you are. This level is where intelligence becomes social disability. You can no longer make small talk without feeling physical pain. You can't watch movies without dissecting every script flaw. You can't have relationships without seeing 3 steps ahead and realizing where everything will crumble. Your brain became an oracle nobody consulted, and that you can't turn off. Funny how evolution created a brain capable of predicting the future, but forgot to give you the "I don't want to know" button, right? Data from longitudinal studies shows that only 12% of people in this range maintain lasting romantic relationships. Not from lack of trying, from excessive clarity. You see the comfortable lies that sustain love, and you can't believe in them. The cognitive prisoner. The curse of seeing patterns nobody else sees. And I'm not talking about useful patterns. I'm talking about patterns in everything. In the way people walk, in the rhythm of a conversation, in the microsignals of a civilization's decay. Your brain became a pattern detector in overdrive, and you can't turn it off. Ever. Here lives the true hell. You anticipate failures, anticipate betrayals, anticipate disasters. And most of the time you're right. Which is worse because it confirms you're stuck in a loop of clairvoyance nobody asked for. You become the modern Cassandra. You see the future, warn people, and are systematically ignored until everything crumbles exactly as you predicted. This level is where anxiety stops being emotional and becomes logical. You're not afraid for no reason. You're afraid because you calculated probabilities and saw the 47 ways something can go wrong. Your brain doesn't rest because there's always another pattern to detect, another variable to consider, another alternative future to simulate. You know the difference between paranoia and extreme intelligence? In paranoia, you imagine threats. Here you calculate them. Studies with individuals in this range reveal that 78% report chronic insomnia, not because they can't sleep, but because turning off the brain is neurologically impossible. You're a prisoner of your own processor. The cursed? Hell is having a brain evolution never planned for. You're not an improved version of human. You're a genetic code error that works too well. And too well in this context means incompatible with the species that produced you. At this level, you experience something the other levels only grazed. Total alienation. There are no peers. There are no stimulating conversations. There is no intellectual validation. You are alone in an absolute and permanent sense. Statistically, there are fewer than 1,000 people on the entire planet with IQ similar to yours. The chances of meeting one, astronomically low. The chances that this person speaks your language, lives in your country, Has emotional compatibility? Essentially zero. Your brain operates at frequencies humanity wasn't built to tune into. You see connections between quantum physics and social behavior, between mathematical patterns and civilizational deterioration, between neuroscience and Renaissance art. And this isn't romantic genius. It's cognitive torture, because nobody will understand, ever. You can write, you can create, you can try to communicate, but there will always be an abyss between what you think and what you can translate. The final irony? Society calls you a genius. You call yourself an exile. Documented cases show that individuals above 180 IQ have subjective happiness expectancy comparable to people with severe disabilities. It's not depression, it's clarity. You see the machine working, and you can't pretend you don't. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See in the next video, the explosive narcissist. Society thinks dangerous personalities are obvious. Wrong. But let's start with the only type that actually is. The explosive narcissist.